Hey, Magic friends, welcome back. This is your captain speaking, Capnclydes MT. Today, the foundation of blue. That's right, the color everybody loves. Not. But hey, if somebody doesn't counterspell your stuff and piss you off, are they really friends? Anyhow, don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Links down below to the eBay TCG player store and the giveaways that are live this month. Make sure you get in there, get you a chance to win some free cards. So, with all that said and done, let's take a look at what Foundations has to offer as staple blue cards for the standard seasons for the next, 3+ years. So, we'll start off with what blue would call removal. I use that term loosely. One blue witness protection reprint. You enchant a creature, it makes it green white 1/1 with no abilities. And it also makes it a legitimate business person. Anyway, um, so this is the basically the best that blue can do, other than bouncing. Uh, Permanents once they're on the battlefield, so not a whole lot in the way of removal. However, this card has been good and is cheap, so probably the best blue has to offer. But it also got an upgrade by getting Imprisoned in the Moon reprinted. A blue and 2, which will allow you to enchant a creature, land, or planeswalker. It makes it a colorless permanent that gives you colorless mana and loses all their card types. This is probably just as good, if not maybe better, than Banishing Light. It doesn't get all permanents. It can't get an artifact or enchantment, but it does get a planeswalker and a creature and a land, which could be relevant depending on the land cycles that they're playing in. Also, Banishing Light can't get lands, so but when it comes to blue, this is probably the best that it has to offer for removal. Now, moving on, we have the normal blue removal, which is bounce spells. And with Aetherize getting reprinted, this is going to be insanely good. A blue and 3 instant that returns all attacking creatures to their owner's hands. It's as cheap as Wrath of God. Only drawback, it doesn't kill them. It only puts it back in their hand, but it does buy you a turn of not taking damage and force your opponent to recast. So, one blue starter is also a benefit. So there's some pros and there's some cons. But all in all, this is definitely a card we're going to see a lot of play in standard. If you're playing blue and not playing white, so you can Wrath. But if you're playing blue, you're probably playing white. But anyway, point being, this is probably one of the best blue removal spells that we're going to see a whole lot of moving forward in standard, thanks to Foundations. Now, with that said, also have some of the typical blue removal, which is just counter your shit so you can't have it. 2 blue and 1 counter target spell, draw a card and discard. So there's tons, huge, lots, plenty of counter spells that come out with every set. But this one being in Foundations means it will be in forever and ever and ever. And to be fair, I'm surprised it's a common. This is probably one of the best counter spells there is. You counter the spell, you draw and discard. Now, I mean, it'd be bad if you have no cards in hand. However, normally blue always has cards in hand and the ability to draw and discard and filter through your deck. Also, something blue always wants, and this is the counter spell and that ability together. I don't see how every blue deck, in any way, shape, or form, don't just run 4 of these, because it's just the best counter spell. And really, when it comes to standard, this card is just a powerhouse. So, moving on past the counter spells, we have the Strix Lookout, blue and 1 for a 1/2 flyer with vigilance, which is just okay. But the blue and 1 lets you draw a card and discard. Again, the ability to filter through your deck is huge for blue. Plus, this has the ability that flies. It can't be blocked easily. It has vigilance, which means you can attack and use it to draw and discard. It does a little bit of everything. hurts the opponent, helps you filter through your deck. It does take mana to activate, but like any good blue player, you just leave all your land untapped until the end of their turn. And if you don't counter anything, or even if you do, if you have the mana left over, you just draw and discard then. So, yeah. Seems good. Other cards that make the list: Elementalist Adept, a blue and 1 that is a 2/1. Interesting that it's a mono blue card and it has blue and red in it. But anyway, probably because it's basically young peasy. Well, kind of, sort of. It has flash and prowess. So we don't see prowess very often on blue cards. Mainly on red ones is where we can normally get those from. Sometimes white. But this is going to be a powerhouse because a 2/1 for 2 is already good if you're going to be doing some heavy swinging. The flash ability gives it a good chance to come in and block something when someone attacks. Again, the prowess makes it very large, very fast. Could be a powerhouse in a red-blue prowess deck, a blue prowess deck, or anything in between, really. So it'll be interesting to see how this card falls into certain decks throughout the course of its time in Foundations. Other cards of note, we have Mischievous Mystic, blue and 1 for a 2/1 flyer, already pretty good. But the big part here is whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. It's only 2 mana to get on the battlefield, and after that, I don't know if you played blue very much. They like the card draw. I think it's going to be very, very easy. You draw 2 cards in a turn and just start pumping out 1/1 fairies, which will then swarm your opponent, and it'll be a death of 1,000 paper cuts. So I think this will always be an archetype of some way, shape, or form inside of Foundations, and this card itself is honestly just good. Next, we have Sphinx of Forgotten Lore. 2 blue and 2 for a 3/3 flyer. Decent, has flash, so again, hold up your counter spells until your opponent decides they don't want to do anything, and then put this in at the end of the turn. Also, whenever it attacks, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback to the end of turn. Flashback cost being equal to the card's mana cost. Another good way to put draw spells in your graveyard, opt, whatever the draw spell may be, swing, and then use this to cast the draw spells again to draw extra cards. Really, really good. It's hard not to like this card, even in a mono blue deck, where your whole point is just counter everything they do and then kill them later style. Because this can be your kill condition, plus with the ability to keep drawing cards by the flashback ability. Tons of cool shenanigans. So, also don't forget, in other decks later, you can, this instant or sorcery, you can attack with this and just time walk. Anyway, done. We also have Kato, the Cunning Infiltrator. This is probably one of the most powerful and most useful planeswalkers in Foundation. 2 blue and 1 for a 3 loyalty. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a loyalty counter on Kato. It will be interesting to see if that becomes a real thing, as you know, blue is just so known for their aggro ability. But anyway, point being, it is a good way to get him to high levels quickly, which could end the game. So who knows? It does have +1 up to 1 target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. You get to draw a card, then discard, which could also again make it really easy to put counters on him. -2, you get a 2/1 blue ninja creature token, which, 3 mana planeswalker can make a creature to protect himself is very rare. And then at -9, you get an emblem. Whenever a player casts a spell, you create a 2/1 blue ninja creature token. Notice that it says whenever a player. That's you, opponent, guy across the table who's in the game just because, anyway, point being, the emblem on this is also very problematic to make for anybody to be able to win the game, as anything they do to try to kill you will generate a small horde of ninjas. So this card, I think, will see a little play, but there's lots of possibilities. And when it finds a good deck to be in, it will be everywhere. So keep that in mind. Finally, we have this giant bad boy, the Archmage of Runes. He's a 5-mana 3/6. Biggest thing he's got going: instants and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Also, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. This is powerful, very powerful. This could make tons of problems for somebody playing against a blue deck in general, that once it gets the board and the opponent under control, to lay this for 5. It with a 6 toughness, be hard to kill. And then just start saying, hey, I'm going to counter your spell, draw a card. On my turn, I'm going to cast a sorcery, draw spell that's cheap. Draw for my sorcery spell, draw for this creature. It's going to be interesting to see if this gets as much play as I think it will, but this does seem like a powerhouse and could be the blue win con that blue players in Standard looking for. So, all that said, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, be kind, and as always, I hope to see you across from the game table.